Wow, look at this. We're at day 6 of 9 on our storybook card. We're putting our third card together that has a few more complications than the previous two. And we've got one more card tomorrow, and that will be on day 7 and 8. And then on day 9, we're going to put the whole thing together. So let's get over to our demo table and start putting this beautiful winter scene together. Now I've got a few things in place here. I've got my pencil, I've got my scraper, I've got my glue, I've got my card cut out. I decided to go with a pinky color for this one. I have Thalia's sled all ready to go. I have a bunch of these little tabs that we cut out, and I removed these from the paper already. These are two of our layers, the back layer and the one that goes next to it, and I'm going to show you how to put those together in a minute. But I just want to show you one thing here. I'll just move the cover here. I just use scraps of paper all the time and move things around. So this is the cut, a double intricate cut, and this is an American Crafts pretty thick cardstock, and I wanted to make sure I had the detail without it ripping. So what I found really easy here is when I did the double cut, that I could pull the outside piece off. Let me just drag it away here so I don't get two folds. Now I have this wonderful piece here, and I can just grab it by the edge, and I'm going to do it this way, being careful when I pull it off the mat that I don't drag, of course, those trees off. So let me just put the protector back on my mat, and we have all of these pieces to work with now. Now this is the one that's going to go on the front, so it'll actually layer looking like this, but it's going to be a pop-out part on our card, so just remember that. And then of course we have our Thalia sled, and we have our 1/2 inch turn here. So let me just grab my scraper. And once again, we're going to have a nice little pop-up of a sled, and that's going to pop in behind this, and it's going to look really cute. So let's start working on this. And of course, I have all these tabs that I made. Of course, the important part is to get those as crisp as possible. Just take a minute or two to I'll just get these started, and then I'll make them crisper when we start gluing everything together. Just start off with 6 of these. There we go. We got a couple together here. Oh, perfect. This is such a fun card to put together. It's a storybook card, and you are going to absolutely love your results. Now, I did put a sample together to give you an idea, and I only taped it together, so you even get a better idea. So this is the one we put together before, and we had the Thalia sled in there with the backgrounds at the same level. So we can actually put the backgrounds one at a time in place, but we have Thalia in the middle. We can either glue her to a background piece, or we can have her stand alone in between. The whole goal here is you want to make sure that she doesn't come over the edge. Now, I had everything up in the air here, so if I pushed her down, she's not going to come over the edge. And that's the big secret to making these particular cards, that nothing comes to the outside of your card. So we're going to begin putting this one together. And of course we want our background in first. I had these up over the edge, but we are going to make sure they touch the bottom so that when we fold, it's going to be a lot easier. Let me put that aside. Now I've used this pink cardstock because I figured we were going to be able to see it a lot better. Now we want to make sure that everything's going to fit, and the reason we used it slightly smaller is because we wanted to fit the edges. But you'll notice with mine, that I had a little extra because I cut them out of 2 different times. So I'm just going to cut some off the edge here. I just want to make sure it fits. You may have to do the same. Okay, that looks really good. And I'm not going to cut where the trees are, so let me just match these up. You can see I've got a little extra here. Because we made it a little smaller, yours might work out just fine. And of course, this last one, I want to make sure it lines up as well. I just have a little extra to take off because it's coming over the edge. Just really easy. All right, we want to get all of these pieces put together. Now we have to decide if we're going to have Thalia poke out this way or make her come up a little higher. We'll decide that once we've got the first 2 background pieces in place, so we'll move the 2 pieces here out of position. Now you could use 2 or 3 here depending on, you know, how stable you want the center. I'm thinking that perhaps we want to have 3 in the back. Now I'm going to do something that we haven't done in before. What I want to do is make sure everything lines up. So I'm just going to place this, going to make it square. Square to the bottom. But if I take this, just scoot it over. Now we're not going to be able to see this background piece anyway. So I'm just going to draw a line across to make sure it's all lined up here. There, it's lined up. I'm just going to put a line across. And that's just to help me make sure that I line these up the way I want them. Now this is going to the back like this. So I want to make sure they are lined up. I'm going to put them at the bottom here. So all I'm going to do is grab my glue. As this one's a little more complicated, I want to be able to line up the edge here right to my line. So I have it nice and straight. Do the same in the middle. And then of course I want one more. Make sure it's straight, get it towards the edge. Now the previous cards, I just eyeballed everything. But this one I want to be a little more accurate because we've got so many of these tabs that we're putting into place. And of course we want it that distance from the edge. Now we know that that is 1/2 inch. This is going over here. So it's going to be 1/2 inch out, and that is perfect because if I push this down, line that right up here. Make sure it lines up. Now if I push these pieces down, be able to shut this, and then it should come up exactly where I want it, and it will. Okay, so our next little job here is to put the glue on these 3 tabs. Line this up perfectly to the fold. So I'm just going to bring it up a bit and snug it in. Make sure it lines up on the sides as well. Just line it up like that. Then I'm going to push it down. Do we get what we want? Yes, we do. Now I know it looks flimsy at the bottom here, but don't worry about that. The whole goal here is to be able to get it sort of springing out the way we want. Now everything else is going to align to the bottom of this. So even if I push it back, it will come out because everything is going to pull it out because we're going to glue Thalia in there. Now the same thing here. We want to now pop out from here so we get a nice layered effect. So once again, I'm going to use my ruler so I can get everything even. I just put a line in. Just want to make sure everything's straight. I'm going to line it up with my mat here. Up. Let's get it lined up. All right, approximately, let's see. Let's put our line down here for the second one here. It looks pretty straight. All right, so we are ready now to put our next layer in place. So I just want to do it this way. So we can decide if we want 2 or 3 here. I'm going to put them, approximately, let's see, we did the backwards one. Let's see, this is 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. I might put these on the top here. So I'm going to put 2 on this one, so I'm just going to put it inside just a little bit. There we go. And let's grab another one. Okay. So now we are ready to put in our next layer. Now those will not show. They still come to the edge here because of the way we measured things. So what's going to happen here is we want to bring this up. We want these to line up together so that when they pop out, they're all going to pop out together. So let's do this. Let's grab our glue on the tab. Now we know this is going to line up at the bottom. Just holding the other one in place. All right, my job here is to get this to lie down. And we can always trim off the edges if something comes out, so not to worry. So now we have 2 layers. I'm going to come out about 1/2 inch. They'll all pull out once we get our next one in. So now we have to decide how we want to anchor in Thalia. Do we want her to come in 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch? Because she's the one that's going to pull it all out. I'm going to put her approximate 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch. All right, so 1/2 and 1/2 and 1/4, that's 1 1/4. So we're just going to make a mark here, 1 1/4 inches. So I say this one's a little more complicated than the other ones we've done because we have so many layers. 1/4. Same with this one, 1 1/4. I'm going to have to just be careful how I do this. I'm just going to put it in the middle here. The reason I'm just going to put it in the middle because that's where Thalia will hide it. All right, we know we're going to put Thalia right there, so we have to decide, which part is going to land where, because she's going to pop up and then we have to glue her on here. So the first thing I want to do is secure her to the bottom. Just over the line, just a little bit. Just get her in there. Now she's going to pull this. So we know we can pull her here. Now, the biggest issue here is the fact that she is 1/4 of an inch, or we can just simply glue her into place with a 1/4 inch, which means it's half the size of this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to glue this part to Thalia, and now I have the 1/4 inch piece, and this whole back piece is going to go against this one. So watch how we do this. I want it towards, let's see, how far up does this go? We have to make sure, okay, it's just below here, so we know we have to keep it below there. Put her in the middle here. So let's just glue this into place. I shouldn't be eyeballing this, I should make it straight. Okay. Just going to push it into place here. Fabulous. Use my ruler to keep it into place. Sorry if you can't quite hear me. Now we only have the 1/4 part, but this is the part that we are going to glue to here. Now if our card closes properly, we bring this out. Bring it up a bit. There we go. This time I have my fingers inside of it because we did that extra fold. I want to make sure it's straight. See where we are with it. Okay, brought it out. Okay, I knew I was going to struggle with this one just a tiny bit. Just because of the extra fold. So let me get a little extra glue underneath here. Get a little extra glue right down here. And I'm just going to hold it by hand this time. This one's a little more awkward. Now the other issue we're going to have, we have to make sure everything folds properly. Get this one down. There we go. And this one is absolutely perfect because you can see Thalia's head does not come across this. And now we have the 3 layers. The last layer will go into place. We can, push it out a bit. We can cut a piece off the bottom because if I bring this out 1/2 inch, it's still going to cover her a little more than what I wanted. So I'm actually going to cut off a piece of this. I'm just doing this by about, let me grab this here. I just want to move a little piece off of it. I'm going to come down here, move my stuff out of the way, make sure that's lined up. And I think I'll take off just a small bit here. I want to make sure it's straight. Now I'm going to draw a little line here. Now the one thing I can do, I can use the scissors, or I can simply grab an X-Acto knife. And I have a self-healing mat here. So I can just simply cut it off against the ruler to make sure I'm perfectly straight. And it didn't cut quite through. There we go. Now the reason I want to bring it down a little bit, I want to see more of the sled. Now we're going to bring this out, of course, a half, but we're only going to be able to glue it to Thalia, so we've got to bring it to the insides here. So we're going to have it across the bottom, so I only need 2 here, and we want it on the inside. I'm going to turn this around, so it's going to come up a bit. What I might do is just measure from here. It's about half, okay. Half, okay. Let me just grab this. I'm going to do it at the bottom. Bring it in about here. No exact measurements. And one more. Approximately here. Now, if you wanted to, you could glue the bottoms in there. I like it freestanding, so let me just grab these 2 pieces here. And we want this a 1/2 inch out. That can be at the bottom. Be at the bottom right here. To the bottom. I want those to go to the bottom on this one. I'm just going to bring it over. I'm just going to hold it in by hand here so that we have it all. And now we have this multi-layered pop-up card for our 3rd one. Now you may wonder, why did we not anchor those bottoms? Well, we have a lot of stuff going on here, so I'm just going to close it and give it an extra push here, and now it's going to come up. Now you'll notice that this is coming up off the bottom, and I want to anchor this, so we're going to add something more. We're going to add another one of these, but we're going to anchor it right to the bottom. So I'm going to start. Just going to put the glue on one of these. We want it at the bottom. So I'm going to grab it underneath like this, right in the center. Just going to glue it into place. Make sure it's straight. Okay. So now we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue it to the bottom. So what's going to happen here, this is going to fold up. I need to get this on there in the middle and the back, of course. It's going right to the bottom. So now when we bring it up, it's going to stay into place. Now let me just hold this down for a second. We have all of our trees. Now it's a lot of fussing around, so it may take you a little while to get that in place. I notice I've got this slightly off the edge, but as I mentioned before, we can do some trimming. So you should be able to see all the different areas that we placed in here. Now I can push it over. And that little extra piece I said was sticking out. I'm just going to grab my scissors. And there we go. And that is our 3rd card. So I can hardly wait to show you what we're going to do next.